Hi, this is Runa, and you're listening to the Changemakers podcast, where we share tips, insight, tools, and stories from other changemakers designed to motivate you to become the change you want to see in your world. Make sure you join our Changemakers community at runamagnus.com/podcast. And now, this is your time to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Is sponsored by the No More Boxes World Tour, raising awareness towards the limiting, isolating, and divisive boxes human beings consistently place themselves and others into. The purpose of the No More Boxes Tour is to introduce to a global audience the power, value, and impact of a world without boxes. Through the No More Boxes breakthrough events, also known as Black Breakfast Clubs, each event creates a unique and safe space to have non-judgmental and empowering conversations, tackling the most challenging and difficult areas we face in creating a world that is diverse and productive. The mission with the No More Boxes movement and global tour is to liberate each individual from the boxes which limits, isolate, or depower them. It's a global movement that is already shaking the world. And if you want to see a world that is harnessing people's natural talent, leads to human liberation, peace, and happiness, find out more about the movement and how you can join, how you can set up your own breakfast club, or how to sponsor one of our global events. Please go to www.nomoreboxesmovement.com. Now let's go to our today's guest. His mission is to change life through result-based relationship. I'm talking about Jacob Odgaard with a lot of A's. Now, Jacob has been in the marketing, pay-per-click marketing and advertising business, and with a remarkable result. Only 6 years since he founded his business called Disruptive Advertising, it has grown for 2 employees working in Jake's basement to a flourishing agency with more than 120 employees and run a state over $18 million, putting it at number 145 on the 2017 Incorporated 500 list and listed as one of USA Today's best places to work in Salt Lake City in 2019. Beyond running a successful digital marketing agency, Jake's professional goal is to create 50 millionaires. To help him achieve that goal, Jake has invested over $350,000 into professional development and runs an ongoing series of personal development courses covering topics like developing healthy habits and vision mapping to help his employees cultivate a strong sense of self-awareness and unlock their full potential. As a business owner, author, motivational speaker, Jacob Odgaard's witty, thoughtful, and genuine approach to pay-per-click advertising and leadership makes him definitely a compelling leader in the digital marketing area. You are going to love this episode. I do hope so anyway, as Jake is going to be sharing with us both his why, how it came about, and what are the things that you need to think about yourself and for your business to really thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jake. Hey Jake, welcome to the Changemakers podcast. Such a pleasure to have you as our guest.
Thanks for having me, Runa.
I'm excited to learn from you today. I think from what I've investigated around what you've been doing, you're really helping entrepreneurs on a different level, I think, than one often sees. Can you share with our audience first, maybe, who is Jake and why are you where you are at the moment? I mean, what has brought you to this place?
Wow, there's so much that goes into that. I think maybe a few things that are a little bit more unique about me is I am the 6th of 10 children, and I've had a job since I was 8 years old. So I've just had to learn how to create for myself and to go get what I want out of life. And while I didn't always appreciate that growing up, I am very grateful to my parents for creating a great sense of independence and work ethic at a young age that I feel like has served me very well, and also comes with some challenges as well in relationships and things that I've experienced, that sense of independence. And, I find myself now trying to lead an organization and figuring out how to win at life and business together, because I think that they're just completely intertwined and you can't really do one without the other. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I find myself today.
Yeah. And that is an interesting background. I can just imagine that you had to figure out a lot for yourself, being raised in such a big family. So today, your clients today, can you share with us what type of clients are you particularly working with, and where do you feel you can, with your experience, that you are giving your most to the best?
Yeah, so as an organization, if we're speaking more bell curve, we work with some small businesses and enterprise companies, but the majority of the clients that we work with are, they have a successful business and are trying to figure out how to scale that business, and are currently spending anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 a month on Google and Facebook and Instagram, trying to find effective ways to spend in marketing to grow. And that's what attracts them to us. That's the specialty that we have developed as an organization, where they might lack the bandwidth or expertise to do that, and then they come and engage us to support them in that fashion.
So yeah, so I mean, the amount of wealth that goes into Silicon Valley from all over the world on that one, with different results, it's sometimes just frightening. You talk a lot about, I see on the web, that how employers can, it sounded to me when I was doing the research, it sounded to me like one of your expertise is to help leaders and employers to maximize each employee that they have. Tell us a little bit about that. That sounds like you're tapping into some sort of a resource from each individual in a way that is, well, I think everyone is looking for. They want to get the most out of their employee, and at the same time they want them to feel good about themselves, or that's my assumption. How do you do that?
Well, it's interesting. I think the reason why I ultimately started Disruptive as an organization was seeing and feeling the need to grow as an individual and to find meaning in life, and ultimately kind of hitting a roadblock where I didn't feel like I was getting that in corporate America. And so I kind of operate under the golden rule, which is like, well, if that didn't do it for me, I should probably try to create an organization that does things differently and that provides that opportunity for growth to the people that come here that may not normally be found in corporate America. And really what I do is, I'm a big believer in, I don't know if you've heard of the Gestalt protocol, which is, we don't really tell people what to do. We just share from personal experience, and then people can make their own decisions. Mm-hmm. And so I've really based the organization on my life experiences and what I found meaningful to me. And I share that in the hopes that it helps others. And a couple of the areas that I found is that too often I didn't like who I was, that I was trying to find meaning and value in ways that were never going to satisfy. Business is one of those, and using it as a crutch personally and even in my marriage as a way to say, well, yeah, maybe I'm not doing great in all these other areas of my life, but see, it can't be that big of a deal because look how well my business is going, or things like that. And so what I've taken the time to do is, personally, I've gone through a lot of therapy and counseling and worked with coaches to really better understand who I am and that I have a value outside of the success of my business, and kind of challenging my motivations and those types of things. and then taken those learnings that I've put years and hundreds of thousands of dollars into learning myself the hard way. And I've actually put that into a number of courses that I teach at Disruptive that are optional to help people develop good and meaningful daily habits and learning how to change the world by changing themselves and not trying to change other people all the time. And teaching them how to have a budget and to be smart with their finances so that they can get ahead in life and not always be working from behind. And so some of these things that I've had to learn the hard way, I've just tried to create an environment where I can share those experiences and hopefully help people either avoid or accelerate learning those things for themselves.
So really, it sounds like you're teaching soft skills in a marketing, advertising.
Yeah. And I think I just hope and assume and have now seen that the more effective people are in their lives, the better they're going to perform at work as well. And so it's kind of a win for everybody.
It is. And I'm speaking of branding and branding yourself. This definitely is not a, what I want to call this. It's not the normal type or the average type of a marketing and advertising agency. It's definitely disruptive, like you mentioned. You mentioned habits and changing our daily habits, which is, we talked about that a lot, the change makers, and even we had the whole month of May was May the Change Be With You, when we noticed really a lot of conversation around that. Little things that you can do to change your habits that then can change your life. What do you see are maybe the most common blind spots that people overlook when it comes to creating a change in their lives that is ultimately going to be a big one down the line?
Yeah. We live in an interesting world where we expect that the second we make a change in our lives, we have this instant gratification addiction that we expect it to work and to work immediately and to come with fame, fortune, and abs.
And I like that, abs.
And then we jump into it. And when we try new things, we realize quite quickly that we stink at them because it's the first time we're trying them. And because of that expectation that we have, we tend to give up pretty quickly. And I think, to answer your question more specifically, I think the mistake that we're all making is that willpower is the solution to change in our lives. And that if we just cared enough, if we just had enough willpower, if we were just enough as a person, then we could make change. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. So then we kind of go through this cycle of, well, clearly I'm just not enough of it as a person, or else I would have made this change in my life.
Yeah.
And because I'm not apparently a good person now, I'm going to indulge in all of the bad habits that I've developed that take me even further away from the change that I'm looking for. And so I think that's the cycle that a lot of us find ourselves in more than we would like to admit.
Yeah, I agree with you. You go into that I'm not good enough box and you stick in it, and it stinks in there. I mean, nobody's thriving in a box that makes you feel you're not worth it. Definitely, it's true. And you go again to this thing about, oh yeah, it's going to be okay when this happens. When that happens, then I'm going to be okay. When I'm going to go for this thing here now, I'm going to be super wealthy, I'm going to get everything plus the apps like you mentioned, then I'm going to be happy. That is interesting.
When.
Yeah, I'll be happy when. That's a big syndrome, as I think it's at least in the Western world. So I know that your mission is to make 50 millionaires instead of making $50 million. Tell me more.
And I think this is the application of what we were just discussing. Is, do I want to build, I guess, my own kingdom and have it be all about me and my personal and professional life? Or do I want to contribute to an environment where a lot of us are winning at life and business together? And that's really what I'm trying to communicate with that. And so that's what I mean. And that's what I'm going for, is how do I create an environment where the things that are going to bring true happiness and fulfillment in life are, and money is one of those, right? That's just an easier one to measure, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more tangible, perhaps not even that high on the priority list. But that's what I'm looking for. And I love the idea of building that sense of family and community where we're all contributing in our own unique way to that environment where we can grow.
I like that. I really like that. And best of luck, Jake, on that journey. We, the Changemakers, we will definitely be behind you. Just one last thing. Where's the best way for our listeners to reach out to you and learn more about you? I know that we're going to put it into the show notes, but just in case they're listening to that in their car or whatever, where should they go?
Yeah, two ways. Personally, I'm the most active on LinkedIn. So just look me up, Jake Badsgaard on LinkedIn. There's a lot of A's. It's pretty easy to find me. And then professionally, disruptiveadvertising.com is the best to learn about who we are, what we do in our culture, and all the things that we were talking about today. So
that's brilliant. We will put everything in the show notes. And Jake, thank you so much for being our guest.
Thanks, Runa.
Was this podcast of value for you? I sure hope so. If so, feel free to share the love and give us your generous review on iTunes or Stitcher. And remember that you can always go to runamagnus.com to find out more about the Changemakers and how we can help you drive the change you want to see in your world.